Jake here for American Muscle, and in this video we're taking a look at the C&L catback exhaust with polished tips fitting 1999 to 2004 Mustang GT and Mach 1s. If your SN95 GT or Mach 1 needs a little more sound to satisfy, then this setup from C&L might just be the right fit for you. This is an easy to fit, affordable, high quality catback exhaust for your GT that will still make some serious noise. We're actually going to give this one a pretty solid 4 out of 5 on our loudness meter, in fact, so it's going to be quite a big difference versus stock. So if you're looking for more noise without being completely unhinged, this setup is going to be right up your alley. Now, as you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, this setup from C&L does a lot to make the 4.6 sound more aggressive, but it doesn't go completely over the top. Now again, this is a full catback, so it's going to replace your stock mufflers, and these bullet style mufflers that are included have a lot less baffling in them than your stockers. So you're going to get more resonance, and they're going to make your new Edge sound a lot throatier. It's going to have a much more burbly exhaust note, and again, quite a bit louder than stock. And the contrast from stock is even more stark once you get things really revved up. You probably find yourself driving differently than you're used to, just because you're going to want to hear the noise. Now plan on having to turn up the radio as well, because you are naturally going to get quite a bit more noise inside of the cabin as well. Now it won't be quite as obtrusive as some full catback setups on the market, and it's definitely not going to be as obtrusive as a straight pipe, but it is still going to be a very noticeable increase. Still something that you can daily drive though. You also get a pair of big polished chrome tips to finish this off. Now these are slash cut dual wall tips with that classic polished finish. They're not over the top aesthetically, but just something that is a bit different from the originals. Not so much that they're going to be the first thing you notice, but a nice little detail for those in the know. Now, the sound is vitally important to an exhaust, but construction is also important, and that's the other big reason to consider this setup. C&L uses 2.5-inch diameter T409 stainless steel, and everything is mandrel bent, so there's no weird bends or crinkles in the pipes. The 409 means that they're going to provide a good amount of resistance to rust and corrosion as well. And the tips we were just talking about, well, these are T304 stainless, so they'll stay looking nice and shiny for a long time as well. And for an inexpensive exhaust, this is a really nice setup. I'm continually impressed when I pull one of these out of the box. Hopefully you can get a glimpse here. The welds are really nice here. All the bends are nice and even. There's no weird crinkles. There's really not even any marks from the actual bending process in these pipes. And that's not something that you see even on some of the more expensive exhaust systems. Now, as far as pricing goes, this setup will come in at about $400, and that makes it a very affordable option for this gen of Mustang. The quality here, again, cannot be overstated. So for the money, you're getting a great sounding, nice quality exhaust system for not a lot of money. It makes it a pretty great choice for essentially any owner. Now, when it comes to installation, this will get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you should budget about 2 hours to get everything buttoned up. Now, this is a totally bolt-on system. It's going to utilize all your existing exhaust hangers, so you don't need to modify anything on the car at all. Now, if you've done an exhaust in your driveway before, you know it can be a bit fiddly just because of a lack of space, but this is absolutely a job that you can accomplish at home. And now to show you exactly what you've got to do, let's head out to the shop.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun or ratchet, a 9/16 and a 15mm socket, exhaust hanger removal tool, and some spray lubricant. Hi everyone, today we're installing an exhaust system on our Mustang, but first let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock exhaust.
First up here, we're going to grab a 15mm deep socket. We're going to head to the center section of our catback and loosen up the factory catback where it connects to the cat pipes. There are 2 clamps on either side. We have a 15mm nut on both, so let's get all 4 of these loosened up. Next, I'm going to use a hanger removal tool. This is going to make your life a lot easier. And directly on either side of the mufflers toward the rear of the vehicle, there are these hangers going into isolators on the frame. We're going to pop those guys out. Hanger removal tool will allow you to just pinch them right out. Using some kind of lubricant like WD-40 goes a long way. Catback's going to start falling out now, so you just want to make sure you have a supporting hand on the other side. Just to make life a little easier here, we're going to disconnect this tip section. There's a band clamp here. I'm going to use my 15 socket to loosen those up. All right, so now we can take that off in 2 pieces here. All right, and then this tip slides right out. All right, from here, we can disconnect the flange on the cat pipe side, slide this guy right over the axle. Now we can repeat that on the other side.
All right, now we're ready to start installing our exhaust system. We're going to start on the passenger side. Now the system has 2 of these ball flange pipes. One of them is longer than the other. The longer one is going to go on the passenger side. And we're also going to be adding these flanges to the end of it so that we can bolt it up to the pipes that are still on the vehicle. Now these are not side specific, however they are directional specific, meaning that one side of the flange has a bevel edge on it, the other side is flat. The bevel edge is going to go towards the ball end of the pipe, like so that it fits properly and it will seal the exhaust properly. That being said, we'll go ahead and slide this on to the original pipes still on the vehicle and use the original nuts to tighten them down. Now we'll go ahead and snug these up with our 9/16 socket. Now we'll go ahead and install the muffler onto the front pipe. And these are directional. They're not side specific, but they are directional. So the side with the slots cut into the end of it are going to go on the pipe we just installed. So we'll slide one of our 2.5-inch clamps over the end of it and then slide that on. Now we'll snug that up with our 15mm socket. All right, now we can install our over the axle pipe. Now these are side specific simply due to the angle of the pipes themselves and the angle of the hangers that are attached to them. So what you're going to want is the pipe that has the flat angle on the hanger going towards the outside. This is going to be for your passenger side. And this will line up with the 2 isolators that we still have on the vehicle. So let's go ahead and slide one of our clamps over the pipe, slide it over the axle, and then we'll slide that over the end of the muffler, and now we can go ahead and place the hangers into the isolators. Now a little bit of spray lube on the isolators right here will go a long way in helping you get these installed. All right, once we've got that in, we can go ahead and snug up our clamp using our 15mm socket. All right, now we can slide our clamp over our tailpipe. You want to make sure that the nut is positioned here when you put it up in there, that you'll have access to it. And you also want to make sure that you grab the correct tailpipe because they are side specific. So you want to make sure that when you hold this up like this curve here goes towards the outside of the vehicle, not the other way around. Now we can go ahead and slide this up. And we'll snug that down with our 15mm socket. All right, so now our exhaust tips are not side specific, so we can go ahead and just slide our clamp on whichever tip that you grab. Once you've got that on, slide it over the tailpipe and slide it back in far enough so that the hanger will clear the isolator up top. And then go ahead and adjust it and slide the hanger into the isolator. Again, this is one of those places where a little bit of spray lube inside the isolator will help this slide in a whole lot easier. Now, once you've got it into position, we can go ahead and snug that clamp up with our 15mm socket. And now that we've got one side installed, you can go ahead and repeat that whole process for the other side. Now that we've got our system completely installed, now's the time to go through and double check all of your clearances. You want to have at least ½ inch of clearance around the entire system, just to make sure that there's no interference issues with the frame or the suspension. And then you can go ahead and start permanently tightening everything down. So to do that, the manufacturer recommends tightening the flange nuts up at the front to 26 foot-pounds. All of the rest of the clamps tighten down to 45 foot-pounds. Now, once you get everything tightened down, before you fire it up, one thing I do recommend is wipe down the entire system with some rubbing alcohol and a clean cloth. The reason for that is the oils and the grease and the dirt from your hands, once it gets onto that polished stainless, if you start it up and get it heated up, those oils will burn into and you will have fingerprints and dirt marks all over your exhaust. So go ahead and wipe that down before you fire it up and you're good to go. And that wraps up our review and install of the C&L Catback exhaust with polished tips for your 99 to 04 Mustang GT and Mach 1. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.